All right. So welcome everyone to Summer University. It's the one and only Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq, how are you? And welcome. We are thrilled to have you here.
I need a few minutes, Dominic. That was very touching. Uh, that was beautiful, Dominic. Beautiful. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And, Shaq, we let everybody, we were going to make this a surprise, but we let everybody know in advance you were coming and to give them the opportunity to submit some questions to ask for you. And you would not believe the response. We had thousands of questions come in. Everybody's excited to hear from you. Obviously your accomplishments as a professional basketball player are astounding, but not only that, your life as a whole. So hoping maybe that we could talk today and you could sort of share your journey along the way in terms of what got you here and what keeps you going.
Well, I am a perfect product of trials and tribulations. Growing up in a household that was managed by a drill sergeant, you can only make a mistake once. So when I became an adult, I kind of had that mindset. So let's just say I was doing something in business and I made a mistake, I would never do it again. For example, when I first came into some money, I was always trying to get richer really quick. Like a guy could come in and say, hey, I got this painting. Dominique's wife and all her friends want to buy this painting. You give me $1,000, I can paint 20 of these. We can sell it for $10,000 each and make a big profit. I would be like, okay, boom, 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 add the numbers up, and I would do it. And I would always fail. It never worked out. So I said, I can't invest like that. I have to switch it up. So then I go to all these tech conferences, and there was a young fellow who looked sort of like you. His name was Jeff Bezos. And Jeff said, if you invest in things that will make America better, if you invest in things that will change people's lives, it'll always work out. And then once I started doing that, things started turning around for me. So again, I'm a guy that I never like to make a mistake twice, because growing up, you can't make the same mistake twice. And I always like learning from my failures and other people's failures. My father did a great job of every time an athlete got in trouble, I would get in trouble. Athlete got in trouble for doing drugs, he'd come in the house and say, if I ever catch you doing drugs, this is what happen to you. Go to your room for 2 months and don't come out. So I was like, oh, well, I didn't do anything. Just don't talk back, just stay in there. So I would have to, learn from, other people's mistakes. And it's just, it's been pretty good for me. And my secret to success is that my favorite word, delegation. Delegation. For example, I told my people, I want to be in the speaker's bureau. I know nothing about it. So what do? We go out and we find the lovely Jackie Helen. And she does all the work. She gets me all these gigs. I'm allowed to spread my knowledge and talk to people. So when I became a delegate master, that's when things really started opening up for me. Like people say, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, you do that. I'm not really doing anything. I'm delegating. My favorite quote, Dwight Eisenhower, the greatest leaders are the ones smart enough to hire people smarter than them.
Absolutely.
So let's just say I want a restaurant. We want to call it Shaquille's. I'm not going to be running a restaurant. What do? I got to go out and find the number one restaurateur in the city, develop a relationship with them, make sure the paperwork is right, make sure we trust in each other, and bam, we have Shaquille's in LA. Man, I want to own my own shoe line. Well, that's going to be hard. You got to open up a factory in China, boom, boom, boom. I don't want to do that, but I know somebody who already has that business in China. I'll just do a distribution deal with him. I want to own a bank. Know nothing about the banking industry. Go around the corner, see a couple of managers, hey man, boom, boom, boom. And so I delegate stuff to people that are smarter than me, and it all makes me look good. And that's all about being a master of the team concept. Like, basketball, being on the team to teach you to work with different people is also good for business and life.
So Shaq, and I've got a couple thousand people smarter than me, and I'm very grateful for that. And it's really helped my success as well. If we take a step back, maybe to your childhood, you sort of talk about discipline. I had a similar situation growing up with my father as well. Grew up in Newark, right? We're close in age. I grew up in Brooklyn, so not that far. Certainly Newark and Brooklyn back in that time wasn't Beverly Hills 90210. Tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up outside of the home, and sort of maybe when did you know that you were this good at basketball, that you had the potential to play this at the professional level and be at the NBA? And then, did you know that you would dominate the game the way you did?
I didn't know I was this good until late. So growing up in Newark, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
46.
Okay, so you're my age. So growing up in the projects of Newark, the household was safe. The household was clean. As soon as you go outside the building, marijuana, gangs, drugs, people on the corner, peddlers. And my father would always say, I don't care what you see. I don't care what you see. You better not become a follower. You must become a leader. So, a lot of times when you have parents, mom's working, dad's working, the only people you can hang out with are the neighborhood people. He wouldn't allow that. Another thing that kind of saved me, right across the street was the Boys and Girls Club. So my parents kind of used that as a babysitter. Hey, when you get out of school, you might have people watching you now. Walk across the street and stay there until we come pick you up. So now I'm at the Boys and Girls Club. I'm able to cultivate the character known as Shaq. Because in the Boys and Girls Club, I would be able to say, okay, they don't let you play basketball until you do homework. Let me get my education. All right, homework's done. Let me go be like Dr. J. What's that? Oh, guys are rapping and let me do that. So I was able to, rap, play ball, education. And while I'm sitting down, I'm dreaming. And the best dream that I could have, buy my mother a new house. There's nothing gonna stop me to get my mother a new house. Because when you leave the project and you ride by people's houses, I'm like, man, I wish I could have a house. So I would always tell, like, the first time I heard I was great, I wasn't even great, but I was great. I was 10 years old. And my father, we played this team and we beat this team 131-20. And the father just, like in the middle of the third quarter, just came and grabbed his kid. He's not 10. I want to see his birth certificate. There is no way he's 10. He's scoring 50, 60 points on 10-year-olds. And I remember the guy saying, if he's 10, he's going to be the best NBA player ever. And my father grabbed me and said, you hear that? You hear that, son? And I remember that, right? So then 10, 12, 13, I'm playing against teenagers. I'm not that good. But I always remember that statement. So boom, 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 boom. Now I'm the best 13-year-old. Now I go as a freshman. At this time we left Jersey, we moved to Germany. So now as a freshman, I get cut. But I remember, no, I can do it. Sophomore, get cut. I can do it. Leave Germany, go to Texas. Now I'm a mini star. I can do it. Met Dale Brown in Germany. Already got a scholarship to LSU. Senior, he's the best player in the country. Now when I go to college, I have to start all over again. But I'm used to this. Like I tell my kids all the time, some people just go like this, pew, and regular people like us go brim, 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 brim. So because of the trials and tribulations of not being great, but pursuing and persevering to become great, I already got that experience. So now when I get to LSU, I'm like the 20th best athlete on campus, but now I already got the drive and the motivation. I know what I want now. I'm close. I got to get Dick Vitale to say my name. Got to get Dick one time on TV. We played Arizona, had a great game. He said it, and he also said, if this guy comes out, he's going to be the first pick in the draft. And that's all I needed. So now that I heard that, now I'm here. But now when I get in the NBA, guess what, buddy? You got to start all over. Magic's here, Barkley's here, Jordan's here, Pippen here. So being that I had the experience of having that drive, that's what kept me going. But growing up wasn't easy. But mother and father did an excellent job of saying, we want you to be a leader and not a follower. And when I had time to myself, I could just sit and dream. I want to get my mom a new house. One day, if I ever be able to do a rap song with my favorite rappers, I'd do it. I want to go swimming in the Mediterranean. I would just dream about, crazy stuff. Some people call that laws of attraction. But I would just sit and dream. Sometimes I write it down. Sometimes I just memorize it. And it all came true.
Fantastic, Shaq. So you get and I grew up a Knicks fan, so I'm very familiar with disappointment during sort of the Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley era. Usually at the hands of Michael Jordan, and then post that at the hands of Reggie Miller and the Pacers. You played with the best of the best. You dominated the game, and I remember watching you play. And one of the things that frustrated me about the NBA at the time, and particularly about games that you played, was the hack-a-shack in the fourth quarter. And I guess I kind of viewed this as unsportsmanlike, or like, let's stand there and defend the guy, and let's see if you could defend him properly, not just get two guys to wrap him up because it's the fourth quarter. Did that bother you when you were playing?
I looked at it as a total sign of respect. You just yield and say, I can't guard you. But now let's play the percentages. Percentages only work, listen to me now, it's only work in certain situations. So, like, let's just say a guy shoots 85% and you foul him and he misses. Percentages mean nothing then. My theory was when I need to hit one, I'm going to hit it. Was I a great free throw shooter? No. I was average. I shot 50, 51. That means make one, miss one. But I just took it as a sign of total respect. But then after 2 minutes, you couldn't do it. I mean, I got another 2 minutes to get 8 to 10 points. And then, you're sending the guys to foul me and all that. In crunch time, your guy's not going to be in the game. And then I always said to myself, because we went to the finals in 94, 95 versus the Rockets, got embarrassed. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't think. So what was I dreaming about for the rest of my career? If I ever get back to the finals, I'm going to dominate so hard, nothing's going to work. So if I ever got to the finals, like the hack-a-shack, as you already know, it didn't work. But that was just team saying, hey, we can't stop this guy. That was just a total salute to me.
Great way to turn it around, Shaq. So, obviously there's not many people in any professional sports that have had 4 championships, right? You got a handful, maybe Tom Brady in the NFL, Michael Jordan in the NBA, maybe a couple of Yankees have got 3 or 4 championships there. So you finish your career in the NBA, and the success just continues from there in business, in music, in the things you've done in your community, in many communities around the world. What sort of continues to motivate you to have all of these accomplishments when you've had so many? So what's to stop you from saying, hey, I'm going to kick back on the beach with a margarita and watch the sunset, and where you continue to work and have this drive? What drives you to continue to achieve and succeed and accomplish?
Well, when I first came into the NBA, my motto was take advantage of all good business opportunities. I'm blessed to have not played the game for 10 years and still be working. I have 6 children. My greatest moment is going into the parent-teacher conference and the professors addressing me as Dr. O'Neill. I tell my kids all the time, I said, there's nepotism and there's healthy nepotism. We're going to have healthy nepotism in this family. He's like, what do you mean? I said, in order to touch daddy's cheese, you're going to have 3 degrees. Because, I tell my children all the time, we are not rich. I am. So one, I want to set a great example for them. And then 2, I just like to make people happy, make people smile, and enjoy life. For example, when the Papa John's debacle happened, I'm a Papa John's guy. I like it. And it came an opportunity to where I could invest in the company and help fix it. One, it's a move which is legendary that will go down forever, and it helps put things back in perspective. So when Jeff Smith, the lead investor, approached me, I said, look, I understand what went on. I understand what was said. People are upset. People don't like it. Now, the guy who said that has to be removed. Okay. Another thing, you don't have any African Americans on the board. That's me. Third, we have to change the culture. And we did that, and things are running smoothly now. We're running beautifully. We have a new CEO, fellow by the name of Rob Lynch. But it's all about taking advantage of opportunities, good opportunities, of course, and making people smile. I made a conscious effort about 10 years ago. Don't do deals for money. My agents are not allowed to tell me how much I give them the deal. If the deal is going to help other people and it makes sense, let's do it. You know, I always wanted to be in the franchise business. I have a company called Shaquille O'Meals. And under that entity, there's 7 restaurants, 10 Krispy Kremes, and 10 Papa John's. Like I just love, so that's the name of that company. Like, so again, as a youngster, I just used to sit and dream. I want to own this. I want to own that. I want to do this. I want to do that. I find people to copy that can motivate me. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be the next Patrick Ewing. Okay, now that I'm in the NBA, man, this Jordan guy, look how when he walks around, the room just open up. I want to be him. After basketball, there's a couple people. Dave Bing is a successful businessman. Michael Jordan, of course. But the number one guy is a guy by the name of Junior Bridgman. I don't know if you know that name. But
I do not know that name.
He played for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now he owns about like 500 Wendy's franchises. You know, I think a Pepsi distributorship. He's a great businessman. He is who I'm chasing now. Because I always just, find stuff to chase. And it's what keeps me motivated. And on the personal side, on the charitable side, my mother came to me when I retired. She said, son, I'm so proud of you. What I want you to start doing now, baby, is just start making other people happy. So I make it my personal mission every day to do something. Matter of fact, yesterday, I was in Best Buy. And what I was doing, I was looking for myself in the past. What I mean by that, I was looking for a lady and her kid in the layaway line. And bam, I saw one. So I reached over, nice lady, and I was, I had my ear to the thing. And she had 2 computers that she needed to get right away because her kids couldn't do online school. And the bill was like $2,000. She's like, I'll bring 200 this, 200. I can get it in a couple weeks. And it just touched my heart. I was like, this is what my mother was talking about. So I told the layaway person, I got that. She's like, no. I said, man, I got it. Don't worry about it. No, what can I do for you? I said, this is for you and the baby. I got it. So every day I just try to do something that's, going to help somebody. And I don't want no credit for it. My mother has been my cheat code. Because every time she said I could do something, it worked. So whenever she says do something, I must oblige. So she said, baby, make people happy. Just do something. So that's my little Robin Hood mission now. I just go around just like looking for stuff.
That's fantastic, Shaq. And did she know who you are when she saw you? I mean, you're pretty recognizable, I guess I would say.
Yeah, she started crying. I was like, you need anything else? I would like to get a TV. I said, well, go grab it. She said, no, I can't do that. I said, man, they got them 70 inches for $600. Please get it. So I got her a little TV and got her some laptops. She was happy.
That's great. Great story. And it's great to see people, with your success, Shaq, doing that to give back to the community and to pay it forward as well.
Those 75 inches for $600.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Right?
It's not amazing because when I'm like a technology guy, so when stuff first comes out, I have to have it. So my 75 inch about 3 years old, I paid $3,000 for that thing, and that is $198. I was so mad.
So, Jack, what obviously, there's a certain amount of preparation as a player that goes into playing as an athlete at your level. What from that, what have you taken forward from that in terms of how you prepared for games and series and playoffs and finals? Has that followed you along in broadcasting and in business in terms of how you prepare for your week or for your month or for your announcing the game? Have you developed a routine that stems from basketball in other aspects of your life?
The only routine that stems from basketball is how to win with my team. That's the only thing I take. So this morning, a point guard, Jackie Heller, threw it to my shooting guard assistant, Cynthia Atterbury. Now she's throwing to me. Now I'm scoring the points. You are, as my small forward, you're also scoring points. So we're working as a team. I try to prepare by having knowledge of what I'm doing and what I'm saying. But to answer your question, the only thing I take from basketball and bring over to real life is how to work with my team. Because I realize that a bridge can be nothing without the legs. For example, you look at the Brooklyn Bridge, how it's lit up. It's beautiful. Nobody ever talks about the legs, sitting in the cold water, just going like this. Mm-hmm. Every successful person has legs. I have a lot of legs that don't really get mentioned, but they really make me look good. So I make sure that I treat them with honor, treat them with respect. I don't micromanage them. My favorite book was given to me by the CEO of Pepsi in 1992. It was called 1 Minute Manager. And, was saying how you could, deal with situations in a minute or less. I've been using that. And it's been working lovely. But I learned you can't tell a guy how to shoot. You can't tell a guy how to dribble. So you can't micromanage. So I don't micromanage my team, and we've been winning championships for a long time.
Now, Shaq, I remember you talking at Kobe Bryant's memorial service about a little chat you had to have with him, or your teammates might have encouraged you to have with him about there being no I in team, right? But there is an M and an E, right? So very funny, by the way. I spent a few minutes in tears after hearing that speech that you gave there. So, that continues on. That continues on in all aspects of life, right? In your family, in terms of how you work everything, in terms of your business practices moving forward. As we look at sort of now maybe transitioning to maybe some more social issues, you spent some time in law enforcement, I think with a variety of different agencies as well. And I've seen you out there on playing basketball in the street with some kids and some police officers with you along the way. Obviously we're at an interesting, or difficult time in America today between law enforcement and the community, and particularly the African-American community. And, you having an interest in both of those today, what's your perspective on this? What's your take on this? We talked about it internally a lot in terms of how it's affected people. A lot of our African-American employees are scared for their kids. What is your take on this, Shaq? What do we need to fix? How do we get past this? And how do we make sure it doesn't happen again and again and again?
A lot of policies probably need to change. Along with that, people need to understand certain laws. Like I'm on both sides, so I understand. But the problem arises, I saw a tweet the other day. Broward County, Florida. Judge hears two guys, same crime, same age, same offense. The white guy, 21 robbery. The black guy, 22 robbery. Same thing, same day. White guy gets probation. Black guy gets 20 years. So obviously there's something wrong with that needs to be changed. Some police policies need to be changed. We went away from neighborhood policing 20, 30 years ago. When I was coming up, we had neighborhood policing. The local officer that would walk the beat every day knew Miss Johnson. He knew all the kids in the neighborhood. And if a kid made a mistake, he'd pull him to the side and be like, hey man, do this again. Matter of fact, come take a walk with me. Take them down to the precinct, show them all the people in jail. This is what's going to happen to you. We don't have that anymore. Another problem is, you're from Brooklyn, I'm from Newark. We can handle certain situations. I don't think you can put a guy that's not from areas where we come from and stick him in areas where we live at. I don't think that would ever work.
No, it would.
It doesn't work. You get these kids that grew up on farms, live in the suburbs, and you put them in areas that don't speak the language, it'll work. Another thing is, we have to still learn how to respect each other. For example, I don't have a fear of getting killed by cops. Not because I'm Shaq. And let me be the first to tell you, I get pulled over all the time. One time I got pulled over and I was speeding, right? And the cops came to the car and I said, I have a weapon in the car, sir, because one, I'm allowed to, right? Two, you want to inform them that, let everybody know safe. This kid was scared. He backed up. 5 other cops came. They pulled me out the car. Boom, 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 boom. Hand behind. But in my mind, I was like, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm not going to be agitating people, not messing with them. And if I do get arrested, I'll be out in 5 minutes, right? I'll be out in 5 minutes because they're going to check. And I ain't got nothing in my car. You know what I'm saying? I'm fine. So they came around and the guy was like, Shaq? I said, yes, sir. So he took the car, so, hey, man, this Shaq. He said, Shaq, why you didn't tell this guy you're a police officer? I said, one, I don't brag. And two, hey, I'm good. He said, yeah, you told me you had a weapon. I said, well, that's what I'm required to do for your safety. He was a young guy. And he saw a big old black guy in the car. I guess it was kind of foggy. I guess he got kind of nervous. So my thing is, because I respect people, I'm never going to have a problem. So, and then a lot of things need to be changed in the community. I'm a doer. I like doing stuff. I don't like telling people what I'm doing. I'm the type of guy that if I see a problem, I don't need your permission to fix it. I'm just going to do it because I don't like bureaucracy. For example, I went to school the other day. The kids don't have laptops. I don't have to talk to the superintendent. I'm going to Best Buy. How many students you got? 500. I'm buying 500 laptops, and I'm doing a thing right outside the school. Parents can pull up in their car, and I'm giving them a laptop. I'm not going through no bureaucracy and got to talk to the mayor. I'm not doing none of that. I like to get stuff done. So it's a lot of changes that need to be made, and it's a lot of talking. I would like to see every big-time person do something where they're from, or where they represent. For like, I can't solve all the world's problems. I can't. But guess what? I live in Atlanta. I can be here. I live in Orlando. I can be there. I live in Vegas. I live in LA. If every big time person just took care, just did something in the community for their part, I think the world would be a better place. But, it's at a boiling point, and hopefully it starts to get better.
Yeah, so I think you make a couple good points, Shaq. So, one of our values at VMware is community, right? And giving back to the community. And we do that in a variety of ways. And, maybe none of us can solve this problem systemically, but there are things we can do to make it better for some people. And we should all go and do that. And I'll tell you, Shaq, maybe I'm naive, growing up in Brooklyn, you grow up with black kids and white kids and Italian kids and Puerto Rican kids, and there was never really any issues, right? And so I kind of thought that we were past all this. I don't, did you, especially with the rise of, professional sports, the NBA, the NFL, certainly lots of famous African-American athletes. Did you ever think we were past this, or am I just naive?
No, it's not that we're naive, but they say that because, listen, it's two different worlds, right? You're very successful. I'm very successful. So they feel like we are removed from how we used to be. You see what I'm saying? Like me and you probably don't have a problem, but I don't know what neighborhood you grew up, but the kids over there probably still have a problem with the cops. The kids from my neighborhood still have a problem with the cops. So all we want is understanding. So being that I'm from this area and I see these things, I understand. I really do. I understand. And again, I don't like when it comes to law enforcement that you got two guys committing the same crime. Same age. One gets probation and one gets, 20 years. I saw another one that kind of disturbed me. They had 5 white serial killers, mugshots. They're all beautiful, right? And I think they killed over 20 people, right? Couple kids from the Columbine, the kids from Parkland, they had them all. Like they did all these kids, killed 20 people, pretty face. Then they had 6 black kids. Nobody got killed, whatever, and 4 of them was bleeding. 2 of them had a busted lip. I'm like, that's not really making sense. So something needs to be changed, and it will get changed, and we have the power to change it. Like where I live at, I've helped the community rally around people who I know in the law enforcement community would do a great job. Orlando, Sheriff Nina, Naples, Sheriff Carmine, Chief of Police in Houston, Art Acevedo, who was in Police Academy with me. Where I live out of McDonough, a friend of mine, Reginald Scandrick, is running. In Fort Lauderdale, where I work, Sheriff Tony, he already had a couple of officers do something out of line. He's wiping them out. Like if they don't do the right thing, he's wiping them out. So we have the power to make change, and you got to get people in place that understand. You got a lot of these good old boys that just still doing stuff the old way. This is 2020. Sometimes things have to not change but be adjusted.
So, Shaq, I think you talked a little bit or a lot about early on, sort of maybe how your parents shaped you. Your mom and your dad, and clearly that's a big that discipline in your household, which I had similar in my household. Back when spankings were regular, they were okay. And unlike my friends who just got punished, I got spanked and then punished. So I got both hands. But how does the discipline you had growing up, the success you have? You talked a little bit about your kids. How does that shape how you parent them today? And how are you talking to them about what's going on in the world today, socially, certainly with the racism and what we've seen with George Floyd and many others, right? This goes all the way, back to the civil rights movement and the Rodney King. It seems like that. How do you handle that as a parent for your children?
Well, one, I had to realize that my children didn't grow up like I grew up. So which means I could turn the hard button, just turn the medium. I have 6 great children, never had a problem. And I tell them all the time, education, respect your mama, respect me, listen to her, because I know what I'm talking about. I can help you get to wherever you want to go, right? Never had a problem. So my sons, I tell them, we have a routine. When you get pulled over, put both your hands on the steering wheel. Don't be moving, right? See what he says, right? Yes, sir, no, sir, right? Need your license and registration. Yes, sir. Don't have a conversation with him. Look at him, but don't have a conversation. Just look at him, make sure he's not fidgety. Whatever he gives you a ticket, just thank you, sir, be safe, go home. No need to, because like a lot of times you don't know what these other people are going through. You know what I'm saying? He could have just stopped another car where people were crazy and, boom, boom, boom. So now he's waiting for the next one, right? So don't give them a chance to do anything. Now, if what the routine that we go through doesn't work and they get out of line, when you come home, you tell me about it and I'll handle it. I'll handle it for you. You don't need to be, let them people do their job. Because see, like, I understand being a law enforcement guy. There's 2 books. There's vehicle code and there's criminal code. The vehicle code book is just laws and statutes on why we can pull you over. Up, you cross the line, sir, then use your blinker. Up, your tint's too dark. This is a state where you can't have the decal over the state on light. Like, there's so many things, right? So let them do their job, right? Listen, yes, sir, no, sir. Because the key is everybody want to go home. Don't be reaching, don't be loud, and we don't have a problem. And the reason why I can tell them to do that, because that's what I do. That's what I do. Yeah, I'm Shaq. Yeah, I'm in a $200,000 car. That don't mean I'm going to disrespect you, sir. Yes, sir. I'm military, so what I don't, white, Spanish, black, brown, Asian, I always got to address a man as sir and a female as man, because that's what I was taught. That's what I'm going to continue to do. Yeah, I'm Shaq. I'm worth a lot, but it doesn't change. Because you know why it doesn't change? Because doing that brought me to where I'm at now. So now because I'm where I'm at, now I'm going to be disrespectful? No, it'll never happen. So I teach them the same thing that I'm doing. This ain't nothing that I'm doing, right? Yes, sir. I was speeding, sir. Okay, sir, I apologize. Get the ticket. We going home. Not, man, I wasn't speeding. No, they don't need all that right now. Because again, I know what I've been through today, but you don't know what this guy been through today.
Right.
So
Right.
he's the wild card, not you, right? So when you don't have control over the wild card, sometimes you just got to be like, all right, and then like if you want to dispute it. But look, I get stopped all the time, and people say, oh, they just let you go because you're Shaq. No, they let me go because I respect. And I respect because I know what these guys go through because I've seen it firsthand. When we pulled over some cars that had Uzis and machine guns, so they know some of these guys are out here scared, and they have a good reason to be. But look, I tell my kids all the time, you better not have no weed in your car. You better not be drinking and driving. You better not be doing anything illegal because if you do, you're on your own. Right? If you haven't done any of that and the man stop you over, see why they stop you over. Hey man, boom, boom, boom. Yes, sir. No, sir, it wasn't me. Well, yeah, they said a car that looked like this was at a gas station. No, sir, coming from work. Boom, boom, boom. Show me that. Man. Because we're from the streets, me and you. We know how to talk our way out of some stuff. You from Brooklyn, growing up in Brooklyn in the 70s and 80s, we don't have to talk our way out of some stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So my kids, the same street knowledge type of thing.
Yeah, it's a good point. And, I remember actually pulling my kids out of private school in high school and moving them to public school so they would get a little bit of street smarts, right? And get a little bit more exposure to that. And I've certainly, for those of my team who know me well, Shaq, know I have my fair share of speeding tickets, which is why I no longer drive a sports car. I drive a pickup truck because my insurance company has told me such that.
What type of you got a what?
I got a Ram Limited Blackout Edition.
1500?
Yes.
Guess
the new one.
Guess what they're coming out with in November?
What are they coming out with?
Hellcat Ram. 700.
Oh.
Yes.
So you want me to get more speeding tickets, Shaq, basically is what you're telling me here.
Exactly.
Oh, well, Shaq, it's been a pleasure and an honor. Let me close out on maybe just a couple of quick questions here. Did you watch The Last Dance?
I actually did.
Because you were in that,
I was in that, and not only that, I had no idea all of that stuff was going on in Chicago. And then it finally hit me. We didn't have social media then. So
we didn't.
I'm living in Orlando and LA. How would I know what's going on in the local Chicago world? I never knew Scottie Pippen was underpaid. I was like, wow. I always thought he was making 15 to 20 million, but he never got his fair share. But back then, the money we thought was so plentiful. So when he did that long-term deal, I can understand why he did that. But my guy was always like, nope, we're going to do 4-year deals. Like, no, man. He's like, no, trust me. He's like, we're going to do 4 years with option after 3 to opt out and go somewhere. I'm like, no. He said, bro, trust me. He said, if this don't work after 4 years, if I don't get you the money you want, you can fire me. So when I first came in, I wanted 80 for 10. My guy was like, no, don't do that. The money's going to go up. Inflation's going to go up. Everything's going up. I was like, no, he's like, trust me. So I signed 40 for 7. And then I was like, all right, what are we going to do now? He said, what do you want? So I want 150. So, because I learned that and negotiating, you always start high, right? You just throw a number out. That's still 150.
Well, I try to teach my team the same too.
So he came back and said, we can't get you 150, we can get you 120. So I was like, wow, really, really, the business world really, really functions like this.
Well, Shaq, it's been a pleasure to have you here. I thank you so much. After all the years of getting to watch you on TV, dominate the paint, and now to see, I think a lot of people can aspire to be like you in many, many ways. So thank you for being a role model and spending some time with us here today. We really appreciate it. And I hope the team has enjoyed this here. And maybe we'll get to have you live, Shaq, once the world changes a little bit and this COVID thing goes away.
All right, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Take care of yourself, man. Bye-bye.